In my presentation, I am going to discuss communication patterns within an adult ESOL class that I observed over a period of 5 weeks. ESOL stands for English for Speakers of Other Languages. While observing the class, it became apparent to me that technological resources speed up the learning process and contribute to several communication theories. Cultural space, as defined by Martin and Nakayama, is the particular configuration of the communication that constructs meanings of various places. In my project, I decided to observe or conduct a mini ethnography of an adult ESOL class and observe the multi-variational cultures communicating with one another and try to distinguish communication patterns and habits. The sample group in which I observed was made up of 25 students. There were 17 females and 8 males. I estimate that they ranged in age from the early 20s to the mid-40s. Nationalities amongst the classmates were Russian, Hispanic, Korean, Chinese, African, Peruvian, and Muslim. Some communication patterns I observed were: relatives always sat next to each other. There were 1 set of brothers and 3 male-female couples. When the instructor used humor, it lessened anxiety amongst the students. It seemed there were comfort in numbers. If one answered wrong to a question, they would all join in, even if the answer was incorrect. 4 people used smartphones, and 3 had dictionaries that they used as translators. As the weeks progressed, student interaction increased, not only during the class time, but in the hallways during breaks. An increase in discourse resulted in greater confidence and an increase in class participation. This seemed to expedite the learning process. Students who had poor attendance or lacked confidence hardly participated. They seemed to be too embarrassed to answer a question incorrectly. I also observed Hispanic members of the class offer to help other Hispanics when they were struggling. They seemed to be protective of one another. The smartboard was very effective in displaying images to go along with the vocabulary lessons. Internet technology was imperative to access the many websites for information and images. The 4 students who had smartphone translators were the biggest contributors as far as volunteering answers and assisting other students is concerned. Technology definitely played a part in reducing anxiety and uncertainty. While technological devices increased learning and decreased anxiety and uncertainty, they also lent to the barriers that I discovered. Most of the students were limited financially and didn't possess driver's licenses. This resulted in poor attendance for some and the inability to possess internet access or translation devices for others. It seemed every student was employed in a job that had unpredictable hours as well, making good attendance almost impossible. Some ideas I had for improving attendance in ESOL classes include centrally locating the sessions in areas heavily populated by minorities. Incentives such as internet and mobile phone service vouchers could be offered to students who meet attendance goals. And an increase in government funding seems inevitable as the demand for ESOL classes continues to grow.